Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yoga Healing Podcast, brought to you by my Hot Yoga Studio. We will talk about yoga, postures, thyroid, pranayama, Ayurveda, meditation, chakras, and much, much more. I am very grateful for all of you tuning in today, and my hope is to inspire you to learn more about yoga philosophy and yoga lifestyle and about yourself. Make sure to subscribe to my podcast to get new messages and join my Hot Yoga Facebook page for additional tips. You can catch additional information on my website at www.myhotyoga.com. Enjoy today's message. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Power of Yoga for Men episode. And I would like to start today with the overview of yoga history. This is not all yoga history. Lots of these things that I'm going to say are really controversial. So please do your research if you get interested in this topic. However, yoga was a meditative and awareness practice, not necessarily a physical exercise. Traditionally, as described in ancient texts like Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, yoga was consistent of meditation, self-awareness, and a spiritual development. Postures and asanas were very small component and primarily aimed at preparing the body for meditation. Also, these postures were practicing in conjunction with other things like breathing, pranayama, mudras, mantras, Ayurveda, Jyotish, and more. There's a bunch of Vedic sciences, and yoga is a part of Vedic science, and it's a practical part of Vedic science. Modern yoga, as we actually practice today, is traced back to one guru, Sri Krishnamacharya, who in 1931 and 1940s, with his wife and children, was hired by a local prince to teach his style of yoga at the Sanskrit college. And he actually proclaimed his birthright for postural yoga and said that the text for this yoga was written on a leaf thousands of years ago. Krishnamacharya did connect his teachings to an ancient traditions and often cited the Yoga Karunta, an ancient text that describes postures of yoga. However, the existence of this text is very debatable, as the manuscript has never been found, ever. Some scholars believe Krishnamacharya might have used this narrative to give his teachings an aura of an ancient authenticity. Basically, in the earlier 20th century, late 19th century, India was influenced by European physical culture movements, including Swedish gymnastics, which emphasized flexibility and strength. Pretty much the same things that Krishnamacharya emphasized in his practices. And figures like Krishnamacharya and others who developed modern yoga that we practice today were exposed to these physical training methods, and they blended elements of traditional Indian practices with the systems to make yoga more appealing to a broader audience, including Westerners. Swedish gymnastics actually were developed by Per Henrik Ling in early 19th century, and it's a system of exercises designed to improve strength, flexibility, and posture. Noticing it's like almost the same things that this exercise is aiming for. Modern yoga, especially styles like Vinyasa and Hatha yoga, emphasize similar benefits. They enhance flexibility, improve strength, and promote relaxation through structured sequences of movements. However, in yoga we also teach pranayama, meditation, mudras, bandhas, and marmas, and more. When Mataji Indra Devi, which was a first lady yoga, asked to study with Krishnamacharya, he said, "No women are allowed." That was because yoga he was crafting was largely blend of this primitive Swedish gymnastics, Indian wrestling, a little bit of Hatha yoga pradipika. And it was actually targeted at boys and a young man and bound up with Indian independence. It was about building strength and nationalism, and it was not for females. When B.K. Iyengar finally began teaching women, he modified the practice and made it less aggressive form of vinyasa, and he instructed this female and male actually in the separate classes. Today, of course, tables turned, and we have more females in classes, and the only segregated classes that we have nowadays are men classes such as Broga or yoga for dudes. So now we established that yoga, in the sense of the history, was created by dudes for dudes, and then it evolved. When yoga was created, there were also social statuses and other things that prevented females from practicing. With that said, 90% of yogic system was oriented towards male body, not towards female body. Hence, some poses are not good for females and are not suggested to practice. For example, peacock pose. This is due to anatomical differences. Women bodies have a different center of gravity, with more weight distributed in our hips and our pelvis, making it more challenging to maintain balance in this pose. Please look up this pose on the internet and you will see what I'm talking about. We also have a breast structure difference. Women breasts can get on the way and basically prevent proper alignment and balance in this pose, making it difficult to maintain in this pose for a period of minutes. And hormonal and reproductive system consideration. Some sources suggest that this pose can affect the menstrual cycle or our reproductive system, although this is not universally agreed upon. But like everything else, the yoga industry is changing, and that is the topic for separate conversation. I just wanted to make sure that you guys that are listening to this podcast know that yoga is not only for women. Even though the approach to the practice may differ, men are often guided by the mantra: faster, higher, stronger. I see the goal. I do not see obstacles. Or I came, I saw, I conquered. As a result, guys often achieve great results in any sports if they desire. Women, on the other hand, tend to focus more on the process than result. For us, it's important how the class feels, how this experience feels in our body, and how it feels during the session. Hence, we see a higher percentage of female participants in yoga. And, yoga is essentially about learning from your body and learning the process of getting into the pose, not necessarily the end goal, not necessarily achieving flexibility. The end goals of flexibility is stress, grief relief, posture correction, mental clarity, usually not the intended consequence of the yoga practice. They just happen to be. After you practice yoga, this is what happens. Your body becomes more flexible. You're able to handle stress. You're able to handle grief. You posture corrected, and you have a mental clarity. I want to share with you how much yoga studios actually need male energy. It's like a yin-yang or sun and moon or left and right sides of the body. And I know it takes some courage to step into a room full of women. Even I, as a female, get a lightly shy when I teach in a new studio in a new group of girls. So hats off to all of you who are planning to kick off a yoga practice. With that said, I'm gonna share a few observations, and it's my personal opinion. Many men have misconception, I think, about what yoga is. Many times they think it's about moon goddess meditation and chanting om, or about a skinny blondes bending into a pretzel. It's definitely nothing like that. Some yoga classes can actually be very rigorous workouts. At our studio, I would suggest starting with Iyengar yoga, then moving on to Hatha, Vinyasa, and pedalboard. You will sweat. Trust me. We don't do hot yoga, and we have our reasons. I explain all of this in a podcast for beginners, so please listen to it if you're interested. But in our studio, we work on creating internal heat because we're trying to stick more with the traditional style. Also, if you think you're not flexible enough, let me mention this to you. No one is flexible enough unless they are on an Olympic gymnastics team. So come and love your body instead of thinking you're not this, you're not that. You are a dude, and that's all there is to it. So come and enjoy the numerous benefits yoga offers for men. It comes with better sleep, reduced pain, better posture, increased self-confidence, improved sexual function, reduced stress and anxiety, and more. You can read all these benefits online. There's a tons of information. I'm just listing few of them. And I will actually later release a podcast discussing some of the benefits that I think are really important to keep in your mind or be aware of. One thing I wanted to mention is that yoga is highly individualized practice, and each of you can experience unique benefits from practicing it. And it will be different from person to person. What I or you may experience, somebody else will not. So the effect of yoga is totally different for everyone. And I could go forever about this, but I wanted to summarize few of my points. 1, yoga doesn't make you less of a man. It shows your courage. Show up in a room full of women can be very intimidating, even for me. And essentially, I think it takes guts. Secondly, yoga is really challenging, and guys love a good challenge. So I think you will like that part of yoga. Thirdly, yoga trains not only the body but also the mind, making you stronger and allowing you to stay cool-headed, almost like a second level of emotional intelligence. And yoga helps increase physical endurance, something I believe every man could use. And the last and not least, yoga takes you beyond your body and helps you find a purpose. I wanted to thank you all for joining me today. I hope you found this information interesting, and I will talk to all of you soon. Bye for now. Hello, friends. Support our podcast by visiting mahatyoga.shop. It's MAHAD as in doctor, yoga.shop. And explore our handmade, uniquely designed merch and variety of Ayurvedic products. And if you want to dive deeper into Ayurveda, schedule your personalized consultation on our website consult page. We're very grateful for your support. Talk to you soon.